Good morning, students. It's me, Ms. Sania, and today we are back with another lecture. As you all know that we have completed population part 1 in the previous lecture, so today I am taking a start with demography and population of Pakistan. Well, you can see there are so many people in this picture, which you can see that, right? So we are going to discuss about population, causes, how it is caused, what are the impacts and everything related to that. But before moving forward, make sure to write down the notes along with video and to help you out. By writing your notes, you will remember all the information during revision. So let's get started. And yes, you're already familiar with the other guidelines. But before moving forward, let me just discuss the definition of population. Population is a group of individuals or items that share one or more characteristics from which data can be gathered and analyzed. It means that population is basically where you're studying about the individuals or the items which they are sharing with one another or the characteristics which they are having from which data it can be generated. It means you're gathering data and then you're analyzing the data, that how this thing happened and what can be done further. So this is known as population. You can see there's a picture on the right side which is given. When I want to know about these people, because their names are not listed automatically, I will collect the data of them and then I'll analyze, okay, find this person, the name of this person is this, the height of this person is this, and the color of this person is this. But for that purpose, I need record of all these things. Now, according to SLO 7.1.2, interpret graphs and statistics illustrating birth rates, death rates, and the rates of natural increase in population in Pakistan as a whole, as well as areas within Pakistan. According to SLO 7.1.2, it says that you have to interpret graphs and statistics. It means calculations which are illustrating birth rate, death rate, and the rates of natural increase in population in Pakistan. It means those who are increasing day by day. So we are going to discuss about them as well in Pakistan as a whole. It means on general basis we are going to discuss this, or within Pakistan it means areas. It means that we are going to cover all of those cities which are coming under Pakistan. Now, well, you can see there's a graph which is given over here, which are illustrating different countries. It is basically a chart of 2019. So you can see very clearly over here the China with the largest territory in the world, and you can see it has the largest territory, right? And the others have different total population as compared to one another, but similarities among the total population of different countries won't last long, right? It will always remain the same, but it will change with the passage of time. One of the population is rapidly growing while other is slowly declining. So you can see China is rapidly growing, but the others are declining in context of that, right? Now, the point is that you can see this example. Now, I have already shown you example of 2019. Coming towards the next example, in this example, you can see that expected population of 2025, where India will be the largest territory. You can see it over here in the world, and other nations are listed below according to statistics. But the question which arrives over here is, what can this tell us about different countries? I have already told you about the map of 2019 and then the prediction of 2025. So, moving forward, well, population statistics are some of the most important data social sciences and policy experts have to work with. But understanding country situation, predicting future requires knowing just the total size of population, but its internal characteristics as well, such as whenever we are talking about population demographies, then automatically there we are talking about gender, fertility, we are also talking about wealth and employment. It is dependent on these factors. One of the way that demographers and experts in the study of statistics represent the internal distribution of population is the population pyramid. But before moving forward, you should know that how can we keep track of data in a way that makes it easy to comprehend? How can you keep that statics in your mind? Well, complex data is more easily interpreted through visualization. When you're visualizing and then you're submitting your results, then automatically it makes your work easier as compared to before. So how we do it? As I've mentioned before about it, that one of the way that demographers tell you by one of the way that demographers, which is known as an expert in the study of statics relating to the changing structure of human population, they represent the internal distribution of the population with the population pyramid. So you can see that this is a population pyramid which is given over here. Here's the data which is divided by genders. On one side you can see it is male, on the other side you can see there is a female, right? And then the class intervals are starting from 0 till 4. The major reason is because we are taking the record of 5 years, so this is the main reason that there is a gap of 5 years in between, right? And then moving forward, the class intervals is starting from 0 till 4, and then they're going up from 80 plus. Okay, these intervals are grouped together into different stages. When a child is born, then the child is an infant. By reaching from 0 till 4, he or she became a toddler, and by 5 till 14 years, he or she is into the early age of his or her life. And then when I'm talking about 15 onwards till 44, which is over here, you can see the person is moving from teenage to the middle age, which is also known as the mature age, where you're able to take decisions and manage things on your own. And age group starting from 45, which is over here, and onwards is the age where you're entering from the middle age into the old age. So you can see very clearly that how the intervals are divided, because we are going to discuss in detail about different stages of population. So it is very important for you to know that how you have to study the graph. The basic things about this graph I have already told you. Now let's move forward. The demographic transition model. Well, there is a model which is given over here. You can see very clearly, right? There are 5 stages of demographic transition model, but we are not going to study the fifth stage because fifth stage is not introduced in Pakistan. We are having stages till fourth. Whatever is there in the fifth stage, we are having those conditional statements into the fourth stage. So on this fourth stage, we are basically stopping over here, right? Now there are total 4 stages which we are going to study in context of Pakistan. The first stage is basically the developed stage, and the first stage is basically the developed, which is the last stage, okay, and then the developing stage, and then underdeveloped stage. It means that first, when I'm talking about underdeveloped stage, so underdeveloped stage is basically the early stage, the early expanding, and then developing stage, which is the middle stage, which we are going to study in stage number 2 and 3, and then developed stage, that is the last stage which we are going to study about it in stage 4. Now, coming towards stage 1, 1905 till 1935. So we are going to discuss about all of these things which happened in between this. But see, if we are not stating the years over here, then also the stage and whatever will happen in the stage will remain the same. It doesn't mean that you should characterize it according to the years which I have selected. It is not important for this thing to be studied. But as an example, I have just taken it because I wanted you to explain things in detail. As an example, it will be much more easier for you to learn and understand that what exactly I am trying to say. Now, first stage, because it was just the starting stage, that is the human history has been there. Well, when I'm talking about the first stage, that is 1905 till 1935, remember, once again, I repeat, I am just taking these figures as a startup, right? Just as an example. But when I'm talking about the startup of human history, then it is, ADs and so many BCs before, right? So when I just take an example this way, when I'm talking about the human development, so when we have entered into the history of human development, then automatically in that stage, you can see in this map there is high birth rate. You can see that the interval or the cursor, you can see that the cursor is more than 7 in the male side and more than 8 in the female side, right? So you can see that there is a high birth rate, but there is also a high death rate in this stage as well. The major reason why there was a high birth rate as well as the high death rate, because see, they were focused on expanding their territories. People were focused to expand their families. At that time, they were having no birth control and family planning. There were large families which were considered as a pride. People were dependent upon agriculture, so they were having the desire for more sons to look after the agricultural activities and to feed their families. Okay, they were occupying many children's that way so that they should work on land. And then in stage one, when I'm talking about death rate, the major reason behind death rate was the World War I, which happened in between during these years. There were different genocides, civil wars were also there. So it is just a unstable stage. We are not having a better understanding about the future, that where the future will be lie. This is the main reason that we are quoting it in this way. And the major reason that why it was not a developed stage, or you can say that why stage 1 was having the record of that people are dying more, the other reasons are there was high infant mortality rate. High infant mortality rate means the children which are getting born and then they are getting died due to different diseases such as cholera, malaria, etc. And there were no medicines present at that time to look after them or to give them so that they should feel better. Due to poor hygiene facilities and improper sewage shortages of food supplies due to traditional methods of farming. There were traditional methods of farming, wars were also going on, we were running out of the food supplies, we were not having proper sanitation, we were not even having medicines to give to the child if the child is not feeling well. Little development in medical sciences, use of antibiotics and other life-saving drugs didn't started at that time. So you can see in this very clearly that the drugs means that the medicines are not over there just to look after them, right? Then high death rate were due to other factors as well, depending on rainfall, because obviously they were dependent on agriculture. They were waiting for the rainfall. If rainfall would be there, then automatically it can save their condition. When I'm talking about agriculture, it takes around 6 months to grow the fields and to feed your families and the other people living in the country. Little development in medical sciences, use of antibiotics and other life-saving drugs didn't started at that time. Due to high birth rate and death rate, we do not have a high life expectancy, which is resulting in small population growth. Obviously, people are getting, people are, coming into this world and they are dying rapidly, so automatically you cannot predict about life expectancy. High birth and death rate are canceling each other. You can see very clearly that high birth rate and death rate in this picture, they both are canceling each other. And NIR, which is known as natural increase rate, is low. This ratio is low. It might not even be in existence. It doesn't even exist. We are possibly declining, or you can say we are just at zero. So when both the high birth rate and the death rate, they both are canceling each other. So you can see this is known as zero because they both are canceling rapidly each other. Now we will stop this presentation over here. If you want to study about the other stages, so definitely you can join me in the next presentation. I hope that all of these pointers still here are clearer to all of you. If you are having still any questions regarding it, you can ask me on KP under the comment section below. Inshallah, we return with the part 2 of this presentation. Till then, take care. Barakallah.